So there are things that we know that we know. Then there are things that we know that we don't know. But worst of all, there are things that we don't know that we don't know. Why is that quote relevant? I don't know, but I thought it was pretty profound. So maybe the lesson is that we should always be learning. Never put yourself on a pedestal, no matter how high you are in your industry. But today's topic.
It was absolutely surreal. I remember that night after the kids going down, you asked me how much that I thought you made everything related to YouTube.
In just May.
Just 1 month. And for him to say that it was crossing 7 figures was just mind-blowing. I didn't even know what to think. It was crazy.
All right, ready to rock. Here we go. Recording, and let's get that mic. Test. We'll change it to like 0.5 speed on YouTube.
Yeah.
My name is Kevin, I'm 28, and I make just over $5.75 million.
You know, that YouTube setup is a lot, bro. That's a lot for a YouTube setup. I get it. For me personally, the only thing I have is my, hold up. The thing I have is my ring light, right? Whenever I need it, or whenever it's dark. Maybe some natural light, a little tripod. See that? And boom, I am ready to go whenever and where. Top of all of that, I edit everything on my channel off of my iPhone with iMovie. So you don't need all of that shit. If you're trying to do YouTube, you don't need all that extra shit. I get it, but you know, you want to, maybe it's the minimalist in me, right? It's the minimalist in me that keeps it simple. But let's continue. Oh, and if you want to know how to edit off of your iPhone, especially reaction style videos, I have a whole video on that for free. Link in my description as well. Simple.
My name is Lauren. I am 30 years old, and I make $250,000 per year.
Together, we make over $6 million per year.
And we live in Ventura, California.
And welcome to, wait for it, Millennial Money. I'm a real estate broker and real estate investor, and lately I've started making YouTube videos to teach what I know about investing in real estate and stocks online.
I am a full-time mother and also full-time property manager, managing our own properties.
So right then and there, right? The gateway for many people will be using their job, the 9-to-5 job, or whatever their interests are, and making videos about it. If you're a barber, you make YouTube videos about the realities of barbering. How much money I make as a barber, how much money I make as an accountant, how much money I make as a bus driver, right? Essentially, he used his job, and luckily enough for him, it was in a high earning niche on YouTube, right? And then he made content based on his knowledge. So you and I need to be making content based on our knowledge. I remember back in the day, I used to be a server. Ideally, just talk about your experience as a server. Or if you work for Walmart or Target or Best Buy, how much money I make as an employee at so-and-so, or the dark side, the ugly truth, you know what I'm saying, about working at so-and-so. Depending on whether or not you're still employed, you may want to keep it more raw or more surface level. But essentially, using your job, or maybe you do product reviews, maybe you buy stuff from Amazon, right? And then you make a video about it, and you put it on YouTube, and then you become an affiliate for Amazon Associates. And that's how you kind of like start getting getting your feet wet into the YouTube game.
A typical day for me starts at about 5 a.m. Then I go down to my garage office set where I have a walking treadmill, and I'll catch up on whatever projects we need to work on for our real estate investments, and I'll plan out the days of videos. After that,
walking treadmill? I guess for most people, a walking treadmill might not be feasible given their space, but definitely a standing desk.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
So for example, when I'm editing my YouTube videos, I'm usually doing this, and then, like that. Boom, 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 boom. And that's how I'm editing, right? So the consensus used to be that sitting was bad. Like sitting is as bad as cigarettes or something like that. And then people started doing standing desk. But then they realized there are also downsides to a standing desk. So the key is incorporating more movement into your day.
Whether you're sitting or standing, your body just isn't meant to be perfectly still for long stretches of time. You need to remain active. However, standing still isn't as bad for you as sitting. There are lots of benefits to using standing desks over a traditional desk all on its own. Use more muscles. When using a board with a standing desk, you'll use muscles you haven't used before. Keeping balance on the board will require muscles in your legs and torso that you wouldn't be using if you were standing still. You'll be doing what are called stabilization exercises, which train your core for better balance. And best of all, you'll be doing them all while you're working.
Like I forget what this is called, but oh yeah, it's called a wobble board or some type of like movable standing desk, right? A wobble board or something like that you can stand on periodically just to like continue to get some movement throughout your day while you're at your desk. Definitely something else that's top tier, doesn't take up as much space, right? And even for me personally, I set a timer on my phone every hour or every 40 minutes depending on what I'm trying to do. I set a timer and then I have to walk up and down my stairs for like 5 to 10 minutes, right? So it's important to constantly incorporate movement throughout your day. And the more you're moving, the more calories you're burning and the more you can eat if need be without gaining more weight, right? Imagine me getting up every 40 minutes to an hour to do a 10-minute workout up and down my stairs compared to sitting throughout the day. How much more can I possibly eat if I want to, you know?
PM, I like to go on a run with Lauren, so I get a little bit of fresh air outside since I'm mostly stuck in the office from 5 to 2 answering text messages or calls or filming videos. After the run, I'll catch up on emails a bit again. I'll look at properties and projects that are going on, existing renovations. And the goal is to have this drop-dead deadline by 5 p.m. of just hanging out with the kids.
A typical day for me would be setting my alarm for 8 a.m. but knowing that my children will be waking me up at 6 a.m. So I get up around 6:30 every day, and then I kind of just hang out with my kids, kind of ease into the day, look at all the assignments and virtual videos that are given to me from my son's teacher at his school. So in addition to that, I also have to attend to my younger son who is not in school and just handle his needs. I also have a lot of property management stuff that I continually have to deal with, emails, texts, or renovations, so I have to do that as well.
How about when I like text you and I'm like, Lauren, I need an answer right now. And then, right now.
And then I'm in like a distance like learning meeting with the teacher. Shut up.
So when I was 18 months old, I moved from Germany with my family to Florida. And in Florida, my parents knew nothing about American culture, society, how to get ahead. They barely knew how to speak English. And what's crazy about that is I came from this household that ended up divorcing when I was 6 years old, constantly having no money. There was a point when I was 7 years old where I went through the Washington Mutual Bank drive-thru, and my father withdraws with his debit card $20 from the ATM. And I'm, classic 7-year-old, like, oh, Dad, can I have that? And he's like, Kevin, I only have 11 of these left. This is at the same time as we're like losing our house after the divorce, and things are just a mess. And coming from that to meeting you and both of us basically being at zero, having around $6,000, $8,000 each, somewhere around there, and going into becoming real estate agents, being property managers, investing in real estate, using the mentorships that are all around us, and taking that and then just making our own reality happen has been really empowering. And if anything, I can look back and say, wow, it kind of makes me want to share that story and say anybody can do this if we were able to do it.
That rags to just type of story, bro. It builds so much character, fam. I remember periods, like, shout out to my parents, man. Mom and dad, I have 2 younger brothers. The things we used to do to save money. Mom, I used to ask my mom, yo, can we get McDonald's today? Can we get McDonald's after church? Like, yo, there's rice at home, bro. There's rice at home. You're like, oh, I am eating. There's rice at home. Please don't waste my money. And then even to save on the water, like utility bills, instead of having the shower like head running, we have like a water bucket, and then you have like a little cup that we put in, and then we rinse ourselves after we had that body wash, right? We soap ourselves, body wash, we fill the bucket with water from the bottom of the shower, right? And then we have a little cup, rinse ourselves. And then I remember so vividly, right? Anytime that we leave for church on Sunday morning, my dad would always be like, yo, I made it, please check the thermostat. Make sure you set it at 18 or 17, right? Usually when we're in the house, the thermostat's at 22 degrees. But anytime we leave or there's nobody in the house, we ensure that the thermostat is a lot lower, right? 17 or 18 degrees Celsius. I'm in Canada. Just simple things like that. Always washing dishes. Like, we were the dishwasher. We did not use the dishwasher. The dishwasher was used for storage. We were the dishwashers. My brothers and I, right?
You cannot be for real. Oh my God, you for real? No, you for fake. No, you for real. You lying? You not?
Hey, so just understanding that and going through the grind as an immigrant, right, prepares you to be more financially responsible. Prepares you to like not take things for granted. I feel like maybe because of me as like a bachelor, so to speak, at the point in where I'm at right now in life, I would like one rental property, but then the place where I'm living, I would rent. Own a piece of property that you rent out to others, but where I'm living, I rent, so that I have the flexibility to move whenever possible, right? So I guess definitely as I get older, my priorities will change. But as of right now, the goal is to get one rental property, just to deal with that. Maybe hire a property manager, and then wherever I'm living, I'm just renting, right? If that makes sense. Whether it be living in an Airbnb or an actual apartment. Speaking of Airbnbs, if you have a bad credit or you have an eviction on your record, links in the description. I have a whole video on how to live in Airbnbs without bad credit, and in a lot of cases, possibly get a better price for rent than a typical lease.
The way I got started in real estate was actually back when I was a law enforcement explorer and spent 3,000 hours on the road with law enforcement. I heard that an officer was dealing with, well, law enforcement during the day, but then on the weekends was helping people move into their first homes. This got me really, really excited about, wow, okay, there are tons of career paths.
Some of my earliest memories were going on appointments with my mother, who was a very, very highly successful property manager. And fast forward until I was 18, when I was studying and getting my real estate license, I then chose to follow the career path of my mother and work alongside with her and do professional property management.
We ended up finding a trashed fixer-upper. And this place was a foreclosure. We had, barely, $8,000 each to our name to fix this place up somehow. And there was no kitchen. The bathrooms were gone. The toilets were gone. It was a disaster.
It wasn't just an educational process for these people touring our home. It was an educational process for us in knowing how to work with design and work with staging and just everything related to the process of buying and renovating a home. So we got kind of addicted to the idea of just owning homes and renovating them.
And especially in a cost-effective way. We're about to close on our 20th property in Southern California, which will be a 3-unit apartment building that we're turning into a 6-unit apartment building, which Lauren is really excited about managing. Regarding our finances, I deal with most of the bills. We do keep a spend tracker between us, so anytime one of us goes to a store and spends money on something, we just use like an Apple numbers spreadsheet that links between us.
Okay, let's have a look here. Housing is $2,000, makes sense, it's California. Insurance, what's insurance included? I guess it's part of like health insurance and stuff like that. Food, yeah, $2,000. It's 4 of them, right? I guess the food could, I guess, hold on, hold on. Cause I remember like every weekend my dad would do grocery shopping, right? I think we'd always budget at like, I feel like for a family of 5, we made it work with like 1,000 tops. So we're like teenagers, right? My brother and I, my brother is like 3 years younger than me, and the youngest is about 8 years younger than me. So we made it work with 1,000. So I mean, I feel like that food budget, you could work with it a little bit less. But let's see what else. Kids' school, probably private school, entertainment. What's entertainment? Netflix, Apple Music, Disney, YouTube. Makes sense that entertainment would be a bit higher because like you have kids, right? Loan to Kevin's dad. You gotta take care of the parents. You gotta take care of the OGs, the people that brought you to Canada, they brought you to America, they brought you to the UK. You gotta take care of them. My goal as a young black Nigerian Canadian is to pay off my parents' mortgage. That would be the biggest blessing. That would be the day I can make a video about that. Top tier, man. That's the top tier feeling. At that point, I feel like we're even, you know? As an immigrant, your parents are always like, yo, do not disgrace us. We struggled so much. We brought you all the way here. You know, the typical like spiel that they give you. I remember I used to walk to school 10 miles or some shit like that. The gas, subscription, clothes. Yeah, I see that. Okay, it's not too bad. It's not too bad.
Realistic budget for our own personal needs, whether that be clothes or shoes that isn't business related. If I wanted to buy a necklace or a handbag, that would fall into that personal budget. So back then we said $200 per month that we would have that. I think we've upped it $50.
So they did not have any debts, like, leading up to it, or what? Because at 23 and 24, that's super young to be a millionaire. That's super young. Because a lot of people start off with a negative, right? You have credit card debt or student loan stuff. So I would have loved to see if they actually showed that they had some debt, or if they paid any debt off, right? If you can start at neutral or even a net positive, you are definitely ahead of the game.
Hello my friends, I'm Professor Hans von Puppet. The sponsor of today's video is you. No really, it's you. Thank you for watching the video. Now smash that like button before I smash you. Did you do it? Did he do it? You've done it? Yes! Great. Your service is greatly appreciated. Now please enjoy the rest of the video.
Strategy for couples though, because it doesn't cause any resentment.
So I decided to start a YouTube channel and share all of the experiences I had and mostly all of the things I screwed up on to try to help people prevent making the same stupid mistakes that I had made.
The transition of Kevin going from full-time real estate to doing YouTube alongside real estate to then just transitioning to YouTube was actually a very tough time for me and the kids. I just had my second son right when he started making YouTube videos and just started getting monetized at that same time. It was definitely an adjustment that we all had to work as a family to try and figure out the balance, because Kevin's nature is very much take on as much as you can possibly take on and work, and other things were suffering.
The most I've ever made in a single month in real estate, that would be real estate commissions and investing in real estate, would be around $150,000 in just 1 month, which is absolutely amazing. But the most I've ever made in a month from YouTube has been $1,070,000. I don't even know how to say that right. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and I think, seriously, this is what YouTube sent? It makes me feel like I'm playing with Monopoly money. Over the last 18 months now, our revenue has gone from just being real estate commissions to, well, breaking even or losing money.
All right, let's see here. This is all pre-tax, right? That Cali money, but that Cali tax is different. That Cali tax is different, bro. I get it though, because I'm in Canada. We're kind of mostly socialist for the most part. Free healthcare. Honestly, the Rona has taught me that I prefer living in Canada. I don't mind the cold. The cold, you know, at the end of the day, just wear warmer clothes. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all in the States, bro, I don't know about y'all, man. I don't know about y'all. Y'all got one stimulus check for the past 6 months. They've given us, I think, since April, we've gotten one, you could say, stimulus check or CERB, Canada Emergency Response Benefit, one every month since April. So I don't mind the cold. I'll take the negative -10, negative 20 degrees, some odd, over the allure of America. But yeah, so the YouTube is now the YouTube now is the biggest source of income for them, right? And it's funny because the YouTube leads into the affiliate programs and leads into more exposure, and then also leads into personal coaching if need be. So YouTube is definitely the biggest funnel. Again, this is PSA, bro. Use your job, use your occupation, your current occupation as content. No matter where you are currently, talk about it. People are looking for content about your thing. And the best way to find those high search volume and low competition keywords is a site called vidIQ. I have an affiliate link in the description. But essentially it's helped me when you talk about certain topics, right? Certain people's names are more competitive than others. So you may want to make a video, but after you do the keyword research, the title research, you notice, oh, there's a lot of people already making videos about this, or there's not enough demand. The competition outweighs the search volume. So maybe you change up your topic, you change a different keyword, and you don't really get that understanding unless you have the SEO tool of vidIQ. I don't know, I've never really resonated too much with the investing aspect. I've always been heavy on understanding how to get out of debt, like dealing with debt collectors, debt consolidation, credit card debt, stuff like that. Given my own experience with credit card debt, like I had this like, this is a PSA to anybody else out there, right? If you are trying to go into business or trying to start a business, for example, don't use your credit card to fund that business. Bootstrap it as much as possible until that business or that product starts making you income. If you have no proof of concept already, it does not make sense to go into debt for something. Use your money as much as possible to fund that thing. Because I tried to do Amazon FBA, you know, that course or that business option that people usually recommend through YouTube ads. I tried that and it flopped. I ended up in almost $12,000 of credit card debt.
Dang. That's tough. You know what I'm saying? That's tough. That's tough. Man, that's tough. You know, that's tough.
So I guess maybe this is why I feel so passionate about, you know, understanding debt consolidation, credit card debt, debt collectors, stuff like that. Sometimes the banks give you more credit than you should really have. At 19 years old, I had almost $10,000 in available credit. Because I was buying a lot of products and I was able to repay it off initially, that's why they gave me more credit. But in hindsight, I should not have had access to that amount of money in credit. So when it comes to credit cards, bro, my thing is always have an emergency fund first before you start using a credit card. Having 1 to 3 months worth of expenses covered prepares you to deal with the weapon that is a credit card. If you've been able to budget, save, cut on certain expenses, and now you have anywhere from $1,000 to maybe $5,000 saved up to pay for 3 months worth of expenses, you are not ready to use a credit card. I feel like one of the reasons why people do get into credit card debt is that they may use the credit card for an emergency that they didn't have an emergency fund for. That's a word. That's a word.
I hope the world can see now what's really going on out here, because it's getting ridiculous. It's really ridiculous.
That's a word. Let me repeat that. Let me run it back. Some people may use a credit card for an emergency that they did not have an emergency fund for. Or they have a sudden loss of income, and then the income they thought they would pay the debt off is no longer there, right? So the emergency fund prepares you to deal with a credit card.
Business to making a little bit of money on YouTube, $100 a day, $3,000 a month, to where we are now, where YouTube is paying somewhere around $200,000 a month. Affiliates and my courses and my educational programs, which people love, and then they'll go buy another one. All of those together can sometimes add up to another $300,000–$400,000 per month, which is absolutely mind-boggling because it doesn't feel like we're different people, but the number has changed.
Yeah.
I mean, there were 2 months this year during the pandemic where we crossed 7 figures in a month. That was my dream. My dream was that the construction business and the real estate sales business together would get me to $1 million a year. And that business failed and led to what we're doing now. So I could thank that failure for being where I am now, to where we had 2 months this year crossing 7 figures in 1 month.
It's amazing.
We have 2 children. We have Jack, he's 5, and we have Max, who's 2.5. I think the idea of having children is always something we've been very fond of. I keep telling Lauren we're having 6 kids.
We do want to have like an army of kids.
We do want that. But I think the idea of children is more fun than the actual reality sometimes.
Say that.
But I mean, it's true, because when you have the idea of having kids, you don't think about all of the things that go with it.
I actually got frustrated hearing people's criticism and comments before I had a kid, or even when I was pregnant with my first kid. Like, oh, it's going to be way harder than you think. And I'm like, yeah, I read up on it, so I know it's not going to be that hard. Like, what do you take me for? And oh my gosh, like, I can't express enough to any potential parent that it you just can't even prep for it. There's no way you can actually prep for it. Being so tired that you feel like you're going to like fall asleep while you're breastfeeding your baby, and then, you know, the constant attention, it's just unbelievable. Now, would I change it? Of course not. I love it so much. Once we incorporated kids, we definitely spend more money on them than we even do ourselves. I'm not one to spend a bunch of money on clothes or accessories for myself, but if my kid wants something that I think is educational and it costs, you know, $150, like, yes, I want that for you. It's the best for you.
Hey, yo, honestly, 3 kids tops. 3 kids tops, bro. Anything more than 3, yo.
Hell to the no, to the no, 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 no. Hell no, no, to the no, no. Hell to the no, no.
Yo, kids are expensive, fam. Holy. One kid wants to play soccer, one kid wants to join an AAU basketball team, one kid wants to do piano class, bro. As a man, it's important to understand who you're having kids with, or even if you're just, you know, friends with benefits, stuff like that. It's important. Yo, wrap it up, fam. Wrap it up. Holy, you see how, like, you're talking about how expensive a kid is, right? Now you are having sex with all these different women. You're not wrapping it up. Next thing you know, you have like two women that you have pregnant, or you have 2 kids by the same girl that you don't really like that. You know what I'm saying? So always stay strapped up. Always stay strapped up, because you only have control of the whole thing up until you nut. After you nut, you're no longer in control, and you never want to put your life into someone else's hand. You know, I'm just saying.
I don't always follow all the rules that I'm supposed to, and sometimes that's not so good. There were a couple instances that came up, one particularly where there was a real estate syndicator named Grant Cardone who said, hey, screw buying single-family houses, those are small deals, you'll never make money with those. Having a real estate background, I had my own opinions, which substantially differed, because here I was helping people and my own clients and watching them grow their wealth starting with nothing. And that's what we did. So it felt to me like a total slam against what I stood for. And so I decided to do what any normal person would do and just make YouTube videos making fun of the guy and delivering flowers to his office to make a point that what he was doing was not what I agreed with. From my experiences poking too many bears, I've learned it's really a good idea to have media insurance or insurances for whatever it is that your business is. That helps no matter what you're doing, from general liability to professional insurances. Every single year I look at myself and I'm like, oh gosh, last year I was an idiot. This year will be better.
When it comes to the future, we're really excited about growing our family, having more children once the pandemic is over, traveling with our children, letting them experience life in other countries, and just trying to live life to its fullest. I do think with Kevin, it's in his nature to always work, and he kind of gets like a high from making money, and so I respect that that's something he will always want to do, and I think he always will do it. But at the same time, I think you and I, we've talked about it, you recognize that we are at a dollar amount now that it makes sense to maybe take a step back a bit.
That last part, right, where she says she respects and she has admiration for his ability to want to work and keep working. You need that, right? In all honesty, you're a woman, should always be competing for your attention with your occupation. I'm not saying you ignore her, but like your thing, your occupation, your main goal is always your job, and then she's a secondary. But once you make her the main focus of your life, that's when the relationship starts going into turmoil, right? The things that you did to make her attracted to you in the first place are what you have to continue to do to keep her interest, right? Texting her every day, 24/7. Do you not have anything going on outside of her? Why are you texting her? Why do you have the time to text her 24/7 or constantly call her every day? Me personally, yo, I text the shorty I'm talking to, yo, you free Friday? Yeah? I'll confirm the day before. Are we still good for Friday on Thursday or Friday morning? Boom, I'll see her then. I don't talk to her up until that point, bro. Like, time is valuable. Your time is valuable. Imagine you talk to this girl all throughout the week and then she flakes on you on Monday or on the date, right? We just wasted all this time when you could have been making more money or doing other activities like working out. So I guess when it comes down to it, value your position, value your main job or any side hustle you have going on, and then see value in her, but secondary, right? And then her focus should be you making sure that you have the things you need to continue to make money, right? For men, you have to make as much money as you possibly can make, right? Again, for men, you have to make as much money as you possibly can make for yourself and for any kids you want to have, right? It's gonna require some income. And for women, you have to be as pretty as possible. AP square. Shout out to Kevin Samuels. AP square, as pretty as possible, so that you can get the highest quality man you can possibly get, right? A girl that's obese versus a girl that's skinny, it's gonna get a different dating market. And then for yourself, be as high value as possible. Work out, right? Incorporate standing desks. Incorporate movement every hour, every 40 minutes into your day. 10 minutes up and down the stairs, right? And obviously, have your main job, and whenever you can, start a side hustle such as YouTube and use the money you have to build your emergency fund and start investing in dividend stocks on Robinhood, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But while you're here, watch my past video on how to lower your utility bills ASAP. You can have more money without necessarily having another side hustle for 2021 or beyond. Or watch my other video on how to get out of debt and why I prefer debt settlement over debt consolidation any given day. As always, if it doesn't feed you, don't water it, and too much of any good thing is good for nothing. How you lot doing today? Say it with me, say it with me. I'm doing more, saying less, and keeping that same energy. No cap. Flip the script, I'm out. Deuces.
Inspector, no chewing gum, why's the gal moving extra? Got a ting, yeah, all she does is chit chat. So I tell her take a break like Kit Kat. She gives hats, so you know I can't lips that. A bit bad, big back, so I dig that. Like man, don't even care who you